rounds. It should be exactly 3 o'clock as they come to the start line. 9, 8, 7 seconds to go. They're coming out of the Ford chicane. We are ready for the 75th anniversary running of the Le Mans 24 Hours. Peugeot versus Audi, equally spaced across the line as the race gets underway. It's a battle up to the first corner under the brakes, and it looks as though Dindo Capello is determined to win it. And the rain is sprinkling down right from the very first moment, and the Peugeot encounters the rain and has just escaped the gravel. Supreme skill by Sebastian Bourdais to somehow control that, but it's Capello that leads, and in second place there'll be the number 7 car, Nick Minassian. David Leslie, even as we forecast, we might have a car in the gravel at the first time of asking, and it was very nearly our pole-sitting Peugeot.
It was. He turned in there with just a bit too much speed. He desperately wanted Peugeot to be leading this first race, and look at that, just couldn't get it turned. Off across the grass, welted one of the posts, nearly in the gravel on the other side as he came out. Lost a lot of time. The Audi, the second Peugeot there from in behind from the camera car, they can see what happened to him, and he's dropped down to 4th place. Well,
Dindo Capello managed not to go off laughing as he saw the lead handed to him, but Mark, it just shows exactly what they've been saying all the way through. Rain or shine, it doesn't matter. It's going to be absolutely flat out head to head.
But that was nothing to do with rain. The track is completely dry here. It's dry up the hill. Sebastian just made a rookie error. I mean, I cannot believe what I saw. It is not wet.
It is damp. It is damp. We saw from the onboard camera of Dindo Capello, it's spitting with rain.
That's on the other side, a few spots of rain. But I'm sorry, I'm going to say this is absolutely dry at the moment, the circuit, David.
Some of it is, but no, I think it's fairly damp. That is a corner around there, not as dry as it's here, where we've got all the heat from the people trying to help, and the car sitting on the grid to dry the grid that we're looking at directly in front of us. But I think that was a bit slippy when he went out there. But having made that mistake, he's now trying to get it back. Pulls out along the straight, and he's going to try and take that 3rd place away from the Audi. He does, as he's into the braking area for the Mulsanne corner.
Huge roar from the crowd watching on the Diamond Vision screen as they see France's single-seater hero Sebastian Bourdais pull himself back up to 3rd place at the expense of the number 3 Audi. So he's got back by Lucas Luhr, and that means that in the first corner shuffling, look, Frank Biele's at the back of the pack, and Lucas Luhr obviously got a good run through the first turn.
Frank was badly held up as Sebastian skittered across the road there. We saw that, but he's got Nick Minassian in front of him. He's got to get by his own teammate Minassian to get to 2nd place, and then have a go at our race leader Capello.
Yeah, puddles there at the inside of the left-hander from Indianapolis to Arnage. So, David, you're right, it is still not completely dry. You can't take liberties with the track.
Not at all, and you can see just, I don't know why, but in the slow corners, the Audi really is pulling away from the Peugeots in those slow corners. But the Peugeot, as you said, as you see it come through Indianapolis, clipping the inside of the corner, a little bit of a splash of water as it came up as it went through there. And looking at that circuit there, I would say that's definitely slippy, definitely damp. And just hoping that everybody keeps a steady head. You cannot win this race on the first lap, but believe me, if you fall off, your race will not end in a win, certainly not overall or in category.
Not quite a mist of spray, but again we can see from our onboard pictures, this is onboard with Sebastian Bourdais. It is a little bit greasy, and there's a lot of hand movement going on. Now the Audi has got a substantial lead as you see him turning through the Ford chicane. Bourdais is, in fact, that's not Bourdais, of course, that is Minassian on the chase. We've got an onboard in both of the Peugeots, so we'll be able to see how it plays out from there. But Mark, exactly as I was hoping for, the race has been dramatic from the first inch. So let's see how long this continues. Audi starting to ease away. Capello with a 3.5 second lead across the line from Minassian and Bourdais. But we saw on the Mulsanne, David, that is the strong Peugeot. They've got pace. They believe they've got top-end speed, and Audi think they have too. How that parlays over 24 hours is going to be an intriguing battle to watch.
It's going to be one of these battles. It's going to seesaw backwards and forwards. And you can see how close these guys are. Very evenly matched between the two Audis and the Peugeot. Now the Audi moved out of the way to, that was Lucas Luhr moving out of the way to let Frank Biele past. Why did he do that? It just looked as though he slowed up to let Frankie Boy past and dropped back a little bit. The two Peugeots definitely in hot pursuit after Capello out front in the Audi.
Oh, and trouble for the Chamberlain car. That's the Chamberlain Synergy car of Bob Berridge. It had problems starting on the warm-up, and he's got a left rear puncture. The Dome Marder goes by. Well, after sitting out half of the qualifying session because everything was ready. In fact, is that a puncture or is that bearings or something else, or oil perhaps?
It looked
on an exhaust
as though it was coming purely from the left rear corner.
Indeed, but I wonder if the brakes he seized on or something. But trouble on lap 2 for the Chamberlain Synergy car. So he will be heading in for the pits. He will be our first pit caller after the race has gone live. Now, David, on the Mulsanne, of course, the two Peugeots can use each other to pick up those few extra kilometres in terms of pace. But they have now really laid down the fact that they've got a battle on their hands with the Audis.
Just saw the French Prime Minister there on the start-finish stand, François Fillon and his Welsh wife, Penelope. We mentioned her before, as they go through Mulsanne corner, past the old signalling pits yet again. Haven't seen much of the rest of the field at the moment, but we can tell you Adrian Fernandez is leading the LMP2 category. He's in 15th place overall. Whole gaggle of cars up behind him. And as we look down for the GT results, our screen breaking up at the moment. We are looking at Christophe Bouchou in the lead.
Bob Berridge has come back into the pits as we watch the Peugeot swapping positions and repassing. Berridge is in the pits with a very deflated left rear tyre. Now, whether that was what caused the problem or the legacy of the problem, only the team will be able to find out. But tough start for them, and Peugeot attacking hard now. The Audis right behind them as our race leader Dindo Capello races off. Sébastien Bourdais back in front of Nick Minassian, and Lucas Luhr and Frank Biela giving chase. And again, Luhr is back in front of Biela, so the two Audis are swapping positions.
But look at Bourdais going away from Minassian. Now he's past him. Minassian was obviously holding him up.
Well, he was, not intentionally obviously, but David, with two equally paced cars, even with a slight difference in driver pace, you have to choose where you're going to pass to make it safe.
That's right, and you know, one thing you're not going to do is to have a coming together with your teammate when you're out there. Certainly not at the beginning of a 24-hour race. So he's managed to get himself past. You could see he was looking right, left. He looked more than once to try and get past Minassian out there. But Sébastien Bourdais now passed, and I think you will see him stretch away from Nicolas Minassian. How quickly he can close that gap to Capello in front, I just not too sure at all. Capello very much putting in some really quick times out there.
Well, there you can see the Chamberlain Synergy Lola. It's got a new tyre on, so it might well be that he had just picked up some debris somewhere. Don't forget, much of the public highway was covered in fans and beer bottles yesterday, and I know inside the circuit that's been a major problem on the roads. They were doing a lot of sweeping up of broken glass, and it's just possible that some of the racetrack might be in the same state. He may have picked up debris from anything, because with all the rain, David, stuff that's perhaps been sitting in the grass for a year or two may well have been washed into the edges of the circuit and across the road overnight.
That's right. What they're looking at now, the back of the car, is because of the bodywork being damaged with the tyre that was burst.
Well, as you sit on the Mulsanne with our race leader, we've just seen a quick shot of the Japanese Lamborghini Owners Club Murcielago, which has stopped at the side of the road. The car that was heavily crashed in the first hour of qualifying for this year's race and re-entered with a brand new chassis has stopped by the side of the road as the Chamberlain Synergy car leaves the pit lane. The battle is on for the lead between Audi and Peugeot. Great overhead views of the Mulsanne straight, and it's not a great view for Koji Yamanishi, one of the two Japanese drivers remaining. Marco Apicella not healthy enough to start the race. In fact, he's been readmitted to hospital. But Yamanishi and teammate Atsushi Yogo had at least hoped to get the Lamborghini into the race and continue for as long as they could, as far as they could. But with the Peugeots and the Audis battling behind our race leader, let's get down to Hugh Chamberlain and find out what was going on.